Okay, so starting seated. You can shift the hips all the way back and rest on the back of the chair if that suits you. If your feet don't rest flat on the floor, if you're on the toes, then maybe you want blocks or a pillow or a blanket underneath your feet, just so you can be grounded. You can sit on the edge of the chair, whatever feels right for you, but we'll come to our seats. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, and settle into your practice. Aware of the chair beneath you, of the earth under the soles of the feet. Using the breath to slowly release into that support as you become aware of gripping or tension, using the exhales to soften. Just following your natural rhythm of breath. One breath leading to the next. We'll use the breath throughout the practice to guide us. Moving from thinking to doing to feeling. Bringing conscious awareness. Trying to let go of moving from habit. Bringing loving kindness into our practice. And recognizing that we're trying to bring the body back into balance, that is our goal. To reunite the mind, the body, and the spirit, to rest in the peaceful side of the nervous system. Letting go of the fight or flight. Becoming aware of the sensation in the body when you're in that fight or flight. Using the breath to soften, to let go, and bring yourself back into the peaceful way of being. And maybe you came to your practice with an intention, and you're shortening that to a word or a phrase, and placing it in an I am statement and repeating that softly to yourself a few times as if it were true and already happening. With your inhale, allow the fingertips to extend towards the earth. With your exhale, soften the shoulders and floating the arms up into extension as you breathe in. And with your exhale, the palms float together through the center and resting at the heart. Allowing the chin to soften towards the notch in the collarbone. Softly blinking open the eyes to take in the fingertips, your legs, and then the floor beneath you, and inhaling to gaze forward and allowing those arms to shake out and roll through the shoulders, big circles, one direction, and then another. And inhaling the shoulders up to the ears, and exhale, softly slide the shoulder blades down the back. Inhaling, lifting, exhaling, sliding them down. And if you're not sitting on the edge of your chair, coming to sit on the edge of your chair, and then rocking from side to side slowly, becoming aware of the sitting bones, the points at the base of the pelvis, and then resting There, rooted to the chair and lengthening straight up through the crown of the head. Feet resting on the earth, toes not gripping, just resting there. Finding the breath, inhaling, reaching, extending through the fingertips. And lengthening through the crown of the head, keeping the integrity of the back body. As you inhale, if you bring your attention or focus to the ribs, can you lift them out of the hips? Do you feel the difference? It's a subtle movement. We're not locking the belly in and up. We're not efforting the muscles that wrap around the ribs. We're just bringing awareness to the possibility of growing taller and longer. And then keeping that length, soft in the shoulders, and breathing into the front and back of the heart space. With your inhale, the arms extend up overhead and rest and soften in the shoulder sockets. Nice. Keep the weight in the right hip. Inhale and exhale, float over to the left. Inhale up to center, exhaling right. It doesn't matter which way you're going. I'm just giving a suggestion. And becoming aware as you lose maybe the foundation of the sitting bones, bringing it back, keeping or working towards an extension in the one side without collapsing into the other. What other awareness can you bring? What sensations do you find in the shoulders? Do you need a different way of coming into this pose? One more time, each side. And then allowing those arms to float down, shake it out, let it go. Bringing awareness throughout the practice to the sensation in the body and finding a different variation that suits you, meeting your body wherever it is today. Walking the hands to the back of the chair. Maybe it's the knuckles, you're not clasping the sides of the chair. Maybe your gentle fists are resting. And becoming aware of the shoulders, the center of the back, drawing the shoulder blades to the center of the back, and aware of that opening across the collarbone. With your inhale, lifting the heart to where the wall meets the ceiling. Maybe the gaze lifts up slightly without collapsing into the back of the neck. Shoulders are down the back and under the heart. You can use the arms and the strength of them to grow even longer. It's not a deep back bend, but you become aware of the back body working, of the front body opening, softening through the back of the neck. One more big inhale. And exhale, find a neutral spine. Inhaling those arms up into cactus. Exhale, heart floats to the right. Inhale to center, exhaling left. It's a gentle flow from side to side, guided by the breath, soft shoulders, open across the heart space, without efforting into the lower back or the hips, without collapsing the front or back body, and then coming back to center, floating those hands back down to the thighs, flipping the palms to face up. Open wide through the fingers. Exhale, curl one finger at a time in. Inhale, extending. Exhaling, just linking breath and body. At the same time, we get the benefit of working into those joints. Shake it out and let it go. Inhale into cat claws. Exhale, open them, or vice versa. Move with your breath, getting into those small joints of the fingers. Last time, opening out, shake it out, let it go. Roll the shoulders up, back, and slide them down. Inhale, we lift the heart. Exhale, hinging forward from the hip creases. The gaze stays forward and over as if you were gazing over the edge of a cliff. Inhale all the way up to sit, coming to rest on the sitting bones, not Don't let the shoulders float back. Nice. Inhale, finding length. Exhale, as if you could draw the heart up and over the knees and gaze out over in the distance. Inhale all the way up to sit, sorry. This time, inhale up, exhale, hinge forward. Notice weight in the feet, active legs. If your hands are resting on your thighs, you can feel that. Soften the shoulder blades down the back. Tuck the chin slightly so that you have a long back of the neck, so that you're gazing to the floor in front of you and not efforting in the back of the neck. Nice. Find the breath. Soften where you need to. Maybe you inhale and float the arms up. Notice maybe the core muscles are working a little harder now, the legs rooting with a little more weight. Yes, to keep you from falling forward. Maybe experimenting with inhaling the arms alongside the ears or in that general direction. Soften through the shoulders. Keep long through the crown of the head. Exhale, hip points reach back. Let go of the efforting in the lower back. Inhale, all the way up to sit. Exhale, float the palms together. Shake it out, let it go. Find the breath as you rest in the stillness of seated mountain pose. Notice what you notice without judging it. Has the breath become ragged or uneven? Is there sensation in the body different on one side than the other? Using the breath to soften. Walking the feet a little back, the back of the knees. We're coming to stand. We're inhaling, finding a long spine. We're exhaling, hinging forward from the hips, keeping that length from belly button to heart, pressing into the feet and coming all the way up to stand. Nice. Taking that chair to the top of the mat with the back facing you. Nice. Letting the fingertips or the heel of the hand come to the chair, what feels better for you. And you can adjust as we move, right? Shoulders are down the back. We inhale, find length, find Tadasana. And as we exhale, we bend into the knees and walk ourselves back into a forward fold. We reach the hip creases back, keeping the knees bent, and maybe you find space to float the head between the arms, not any lower. Straight back body, maybe wagging your tail side to side. What do you notice in the side body, in the lower back? Keeping the gaze just to the floor in front of you. And then soften there in the stillness. Deeply bend the right knee, straighten into the left, and then move to the other side and let the breath guide you in that bend and straightening to work into the hamstrings, to notice what you've brought to your practice in the back of the thigh. You're never coming into the back of the knee, just the belly of the muscle. Nice. Exhale there. Inhale, walk yourself up to stand slowly, mindfully, resting in Tadasana. Find a gazing point. Find the breath. Breathing into the front and back of the heart space, what do you notice? Are you dizzy? Is the breath ragged or uneven? How was that for you? Was it too much? Just enough? Were you efforting? Seems so simple, but maybe you're not ready to have your heart and head in alignment with the hips. Maybe your heart needs to stay above your hips. So let's experiment with this a little more. So we're walking ourselves back, Coming forward, and maybe this time we'll experiment with keeping the heart and head lifted, softening the knees, reaching the hips back, knowing that you can get that same extension through the back body without lifting the tailbone or tucking the tailbone, but finding a neutral spine and reaching straight back, keeping the head lifted, walking the feet back so that the knees are not in front of the ankles, so that the hip creases reach back, so that you have a long spine. Hinging forward, chin is still a little tucked to the notch in the collarbone. Nice, just heart a little lifted, allowing the weight to shift into the or over the right leg. The knee is soft, sliding that left foot back, coming onto the ball of the foot. Inhale there, exhale, maybe that back heel starts to float towards the earth. Adjust, soften. Supported lunge and breathing into that calf. Inhale, come up onto the ball of the foot. Exhale, release into the heel. Nice. Moving with your breath and then coming to stillness, rooting into that right sole of the foot, reaching back and down into the left heel. With your exhale, support the lower back, and inhale, step that foot forward. Soften there, allow the weight to shift over the left leg, slide that right leg back. Starting with a high lunge. The left knee is over the ankle. Keeping yourself safe, yes. Shoulders are soft down the back. Heart is lifted. Exhaling, reach that right heel to the earth. Inhale, rock up on the toes. Remember, I only offer suggestions, so you get to find what works for you. Moving with the breath, slowly, mindfully, and then finding a way to come into stillness with the right heel resting on the earth, the right leg active, left foot rooted to the earth, muscles hugging to the bone. Inhale, extend the heart away from the belly. Soften the shoulders down the back. Gazing to the floor in front of you with a long back of the neck. Shouldn't be efforting away from that chair. Soft shoulders. Exhale, belly gathers. To inhale, step that foot forward. And coming all the way up to stand. Pull through the shoulders and then settle into your mountain pose. Sigh the breath out. Soften. Breathing into the front and back of the heart space. The earth beneath you, the vast sky above you, the breath that's always there to bring you back. Walking the feet a little bit wide, so the width of the mat or so, still facing that chair. Nice. So that you're inhaling, coming up onto the toes of that left foot. They face you. And bringing that left arm alongside your ear, but you're using the chair for balance. Soft shoulders. Inhale to gaze up to the fingertips in the left hand. Exhale to gaze down to the right hand. Inhaling up to the fingertips. Nice. Exhaling down. Maybe you choose to only have one finger on the back of the chair. No fingers. What? Rooting down, lengthening up, gazing down. Nice. Inhale to neutral, gaze forward, come back down to land on that left foot. Float that left arm down. Land in your feet. Sigh the breath out. Inhale, right arm extends. Exhale, weight shifts onto the left foot so that you can lift the heel of the right. So you're on the toes. Let go of efforting. Inhale, find length through the right side body. What does that mean for you without collapsing the left side? Inhale to gaze up to the fingertips. Exhale, gaze down to the right fingertips. Left fingertips, sorry. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Maybe the left hand's still on the chair. Maybe it reaches towards the earth. Is the range of motion different? How's the balance? Does your balance get challenged as you shift your gaze? Are you allowing the breath to guide you? Just noticing. And with your next inhale, come all the way up. Float that arm down. Step the feet together. Walk it out. Nice. Stepping the right foot towards the chair, perpendicular to it. And then stepping that left foot away. With the toes pointing to the long side. So our warrior two stands. Make sure that chair or piece of furniture is accessible. Use it for balance if you need to. Nice. Soften the shoulders up, back, and down. And then find that foundation through the soles of the feet. Inhale to find length. Exhale, settle the hips straight down, long spine, bending into that knee. What do you notice? What do you find here? Can you find an easy, peaceful way for the legs to be here? Do you need to adjust? Just noticing. With your inhale, float the arms out or keep your bent knee hand on the chair. You need it. Maybe gaze over those fingertips of the right hand. With your next inhale, we straighten into that knee, not locking it, and maybe lift the arms and gaze forward. With your exhale, we float back into our warrior. Inhaling up, exhaling, floating back. Guiding that right knee towards the room and back of you to open into the hips. Last time, inhaling, finding length through the back body. Exhale, keep that length, but soften through the shoulders. Nice. Let that right hand float to the back of the chair. Nice. Reach forward through the side body. Turn the arm to be parallel or rest on the back of the chair, yes. Nice. You can root into that chair. Left hand is on your hip, nice. Inhale, lengthen through the side body. Find those muscles that keep you safe. Maybe you float that left arm out. Breathing into that space, maybe gazing to the thumb on the left hand. How are you being in the pose? Did you lose the foundation? Did you lose the breath? Is there efforting somewhere? Do you need to soften the knee? Do you need to back out of this? Just noticing, gaze to the right hand or right arm. Exhale there and inhale, float yourself back into your warrior. Pause there. Float the arms down. Straighten into the right knee and heel toe, step the feet together. Coming to stillness in your mountain pose, landing in the soles of the feet. The earth beneath you. Breathing straight up through the crown of the head, the vast sky above you. Breathing into the front and back of the heart space. What do you notice? What do your senses bring to you? Maybe it's the sound of the wind as it moves through the trees. And here we are, safe, supported, as if we were in the eye of the storm, resting in the stillness, allowing the weather to swirl around us, making the choice to not become a part of it. Just watching from our safe space. Nice. Mindfully turning so that the left side, left hip faces the chair, or moving the chair so that it's depending on what you have, what you're using. Knowing that you don't need to watch me. You already did this on one side. You've done this many times. We can just connect my cues to your body. Notice how it feels. The left foot is perpendicular to the chair. The right foot walks back, parallel to the short end of the mat. Nice. Maybe you notice the hips, the shoulders. You find a more peaceful way to be in this foundation. We activate the foundation, become aware of the earth beneath the soles of the feet, and we exhale and float the hips straight down between the legs, keeping both legs active. Nice. Maybe that left hand rests on the chair. As we inhale, reach, extend through the right. Maybe both arms extend and we gaze over that. With your inhale, straighten into the left knee without locking it. Extend through the arms if that feels good. Exhale, gaze over the left hand, float in. Moving with your breath, experimenting, finding your edge, honoring your body, being kind and meeting your body wherever it is today. One more round like this, smoothing out the edges with the breath. And resting in the stillness of your warrior. Finding the strength and the ease of the pose. Floating those arms down. Heel, toe, step the feet together. Finding your Tadasana again, finding a gazing point or softly closing your eyes. Feet, hips distance maybe wider. Chair is there for support if you need it, so that you can rest in the breath. Support of the earth beneath the soles of the feet, the toes resting there, not gripping. Rooting into the circumference of the heels, aware of the active legs, of the core body that can support you to bring length through the entire spine. At the same time, the breath that nourishes us, restores us, filling the front and back of the heart space. Maybe bringing awareness to the lowest ribs, out to the side in alignment with the belly button, and breathing into that space. That we're filling the lungs with breath and softening with the exhale. Along with the breath, releasing anything that doesn't suit us. Any tension that you're aware of in the body. Maybe it's a thing you're working on. And just watching as it floats away. Nice. Coming to face the chair, doesn't matter where it is. We'll move through some sun salutations, right? Guided by the breath. Inhaling, the arms float out, around, and up. exhaling, we hinge forward. The hands float to the chair. Inhaling there, we lengthen the heart away from the belly. Exhaling, reach the hip creases back. Weight comes into the heels. You're not going anywhere, right? Maybe with your inhale, you keep the knees bent just as they are. And you can lift the heart away from the thighs, coming into chair pose. Soften the chin to the notch in the collarbone. Maybe with your inhale, the arms come up into cactus. Exhale, find weight in the heels. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Exhaling, heart center. How's the breath? What other sensation can you connect to? Keep it, find a different variation, add on to it as you are comfortable in your practice. Inhaling, the arms float out, around, and up. Exhaling, maybe swan dive down. Inhale to find length. Exhale to reach the hip creases back and down. Inhale to peel the heart away from the thighs, soft shoulders, shoulder blades on the back body. Breathe into the heart space, soften the chin to the notch in the collarbone. I'm offering suggestions. How's the lower back? Root down so that you can inhale, come all the way up to stand. Exhale, heart center. Last time. Inhaling out, around, and up. Exhaling, we float forward. Inhaling, we soften and lengthen. Exhaling, reaching the hip creases down and back. Inhaling, peeling the heart up. Softening the gaze. Maybe the arms come up into goddess. You're aware of the rooting to the earth, of the strong legs, of the core that supports you. And with the breath, we inhale and come all the way up to stand. Exhaling, floating the palms together, letting them rest at the heart center, thumbs against the heart. Broad across the collarbone, allowing the breath to fill that space. Resting the feet on the earth, lengthening the crown of the head to the sky. Noticing whatever you notice without judging it. Soften where you need to. Smooth out the breath. And with your next exhale, floating the fingertips to the chair, maybe adjusting where you're standing so they rest easily. Chair, piece of furniture, whatever you're using, so that the shoulders are still in alignment with the hips with the ankles, so we're not back and reaching for the chair. So it's right there. Nice. We're allowing the weight to shift over the right leg, but keeping a long side body, not collapsing into that right hip. Coming on to the toes of the left foot, pausing here to root down and lengthen up. Using the chair for balance and a gazing point will also help. Exhaling, we bend the knee. And as if you can press that foot on the wall in back of you, you're drawing it back. So now both thighs are even. Yes, so the knees are next to each other. Now, what do you notice? Little pulses here. Exhaling, reach into the heel. Inhale, soften. Exhale, press it back. Strong standing leg. One more time like that. And then floating that foot back down. Equal weight in both feet. Breathe. Land in your foundation. Allow the weight to shift over the left leg. Keeping a long spine. Coming to stand on the toes of the right foot as you bend that knee. Pausing here. Maybe this is where you'll stay. Maybe you're sliding the foot back to feel that opening in the hip crease so that the thighs are even, knees are even. Maybe you're able to exhale, flex that right foot and bend the knee a little deeper. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, press that foot to the wall and back of you. Shoulders are over the hips. Long spine. Moving with subtle pressure of the foot reaching towards the wall and back of you. You feel the hamstrings, the glutes, maybe up into the lower back. What do you notice? Soften that foot back down to the earth. Let it go. Maybe you notice that opening in the front of the quadriceps, right? As we move into this, to winter in our time of more sitting, right? How do we open up those quadriceps? How do we bring length back to those muscles? Nice. We're allowing the weight to shift over the right leg, coming onto the toes of the left, sliding them back and keeping the shoulders over the hips. We're on the toes or big toe or all the toes of that left foot. We're keeping integrity of the spine, smooth, even breath. Nice. Maybe with your exhale, you're hinging forward, using the chair for balance, but keeping the core engaged. We don't want to rely on the chair and the arms. We want to experiment with more standing leg, more lift and length in the front body. Has that left foot gotten light enough so that you can flex it, reach it, extend it back, and lift it a little higher? Only you know the answer to that. So that both hips still face the chair, the floor, so that you're still able to breathe. Maybe you're coming in and out of this. Maybe you're able to inhale there and exhale, hinge forward, lift the leg a little higher, maybe not. Maybe you're able to experiment with just one hand on the chair and the breath is smooth. Maybe both hands lift. Your gazing point matters. Soften the back of the neck. Exhale, hands come to chair, foot floats forward, shake it out, let it go. Come to stillness in your Tadasana for a few rounds of breath. Maybe one hand comes to the upper chest, connecting with the breath and the wise heart. Is there a wisdom to being guided by your breath? Checking in with the heart. Practicing loving kindness. The hands float to the back of the chair. The weight shifts over the left leg and we come onto the toes of the right. Sliding them back. I haven't moved my upper body. It stays right here. Shoulders over hips, chin a little softened to the notch in the collarbone. That standing leg is strong without locking out the knee. Maybe this is where you're going to stay, and this is enough work. Maybe with your exhale, you're hinging forward, keeping a long front body, shoulder blades soft on the back, so that that right foot gets light enough to flex it. Reach into the heel, find length in the hip socket, and inhale, active leg lifts a little higher. Maybe the toes come back on the earth. Maybe you realize you're gripping with your hands or holding your breath or clenching your teeth. How can you become more peaceful in this pose? Maybe it's available to you, for you to come a little forward, to lift the leg a little higher, back and leg in alignment. One straight line. As you hinge forward, the leg lifts. How's your breath? Your heartbeat? One hand maybe on the chair. Maybe both lift for a breath and tap down. Inhale there, exhale, float that foot down, shake it out, let it go. Land in your Tadasana, come to your breath. Resting in the stillness, aware of the thoughts. The thoughts, like the wind, always swirling around. Can you just observe them as if you were in the eye of the hurricane and allow them to swirl around, not getting caught up in it, not attaching to the stories, the what ifs, but staying right here with this breath in this moment. The only thing that's certain in our lives is this moment. And resting peacefully in that certainty, allowing the breath to restore us, to bring us back into a state of peace. Stepping to the long side of your mat with awareness, letting the seat of the chair face you if you have a chair available. You can always use blocks stacked, another piece of furniture. And we're walking the feet nice and wide, but nice is a relative term, right? It feels safe for you to have the feet at this width. You feel balanced. The toes are pointing to the long side of the mat. It might make you feel like you're a little pigeon-toed, like the heels are out a little further than the toes. Does this feel okay for you? Maybe you need to turn those toes out for your knees to feel safe. No negative sensation, right? No sharp pain in yoga. Nice. We're inhaling the hands to rest on the lower back. Could be the palm of the hands as if you were sliding your hands in your jeans pocket. Could be the backs of your hands. That feels good for you. And then bring awareness to the soles of the feet as they rest on the earth, to the legs that support you, to the core body that keeps you long, and to the shoulders. As you breathe into the space below the collarbone, allow that space to grow broader, sliding the shoulder blades to the center of the back. We slide them, we use those muscles, they become active, but there's no efforting. We can still feel the breath and the echo as the lungs fill, the ribs expand and open. Inhale there, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, knees bend, hip creases reach back, folding forward any amount. Inhale there, soften the back of the neck, root into the feet, come all the way up to stand with the next inhale. Nice. Exhaling, leading with the heart, elbows kind of reaching up towards the ceiling. Soft knees, yes. Inhale all the way up. This time we're going to float the hands down after we hinge. So we're inhale, lengthening. Exhale, knees soften, hip creases reach back, hinging forward. Keep that opening across the collarbone and bring the hands to the chair. So the shoulder blades stayed on the back body. And now you can root into that chair through the palms of the hands, soft shoulders, gaze to just in front of the fingertips. Allow the right knee to bend and the left leg to straighten. Yes, inner thigh. Where do you feel this? Inhale back to center. Exhale over. Nice. Moving from side to side. Maybe you're keeping your hands on the chair. If you exhale your right hand to your hip and then your left, can you still keep a long body? Shoulders, a heart that's lifted away from the belly. Gaze to the floor, rooting to the feet, moving so slowly as if you were in honey to inhale up and exhale, extend into the pinky toe side of that straight leg. One more time each side, opening into the inner thighs, coming to a place that's accessible for you, and then coming to stillness there. Exhale, hands to the hips, and inhale, hinge up with a flat back. Heel toe, walk the feet together. The chair is always there if you need to come to sit. You notice that you're dizzy. Deep breath in, sigh the breath out. Gentle twists. Maybe it was too much for you to fold forward all the way onto the seat of the chair. You can always flip the chair around so that now you're a little higher and you're using the back of the chair. There is no right or wrong, just what might feel better for you. So we're walking the feet wide again. Feet parallel to the short sides of the mat. And then finding that foundation, the support of the legs, softness of the shoulders, inhaling there, exhaling, long spine, hinging at the hips, soft knees. Allow the left hand to come to the chair, the right hand on the lower back. Maybe the forearm comes across the back of the chair. And we're still rooting there, so we're not sinking. We're inhaling, floating the heart open to the right. Maybe the gaze comes over that shoulder, not efforting through the neck. Maybe you extend through that arm. How does that feel for you? Gazing to find that thumb. Inhale there. Exhale, float that right hand to the chair or the back. Floating the left hand to the lower back, shoulder blade to the center. Soften there, root down, keep a long spine. Inhale, heart floats over to the left. Gazing over the left shoulder. Pausing here, letting go of any efforting, maybe reaching through the left fingertips. Gazing to that thumb, maybe not. Maybe your gaze is straight down to the chair. That's too much for your neck today. Aware of the breath, exhale, hands float back down. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Heel toe, walk the feet together. Land in the soles of the feet. Find the breath. Maybe you need to walk the feet a little bit wider and take some hip circles here. Just rotate around. Maybe the arms fling side to side. Just let it go. So serious. Land in your Tadasana. Root into the feet, soften into the breath. Smile, it's just yoga. Right here, this moment. Grateful for the chance to move our bodies. To let go of the efforting. Bring ourselves back into awareness. And we'll come down to the floor for a little more work or stay seated in the chair. So I'll model seated in the chair, but you can come down to the floor through a sun salutation. So we're rooting into the feet. We're inhaling, floating the arms out, around, and up. And we're exhaling, hinging forward. Inhaling, finding length. Exhaling, reaching the hip creases back. Inhaling, peeling the heart away from the thighs. Chair pose, maybe. Exhaling, hinging forward again, finding the support you need if you're coming to the floor. One knee and then the other steps to the floor. Otherwise, we're coming to sit on the chair. If you're coming down to the floor, you're maybe letting the big toes touch and the knees walk wide. Maybe you need to pad your knees. Maybe you're going to come to rest on the chair. Supported child pose on the chair. If you're coming to sit, you're resting in seated mountain. Aware of the breath. So child pose on the floor, seated mountain if you're sitting on the chair. Resting forearms on the chair and forehead on the arms and softening the hips down. Placing a block under your seat, under your hips. What works for you? Maybe you're all the way down in your expression of child pose, allowing the forehead to rest on the floor, and that's accessible for you. So this is your practice. Where does your body need to be right now? Does your body need? How can you connect most peacefully with the breath? Finding peace in the face, in the eyes and the jaw. Finding a peaceful way for the shoulders to rest. Allowing peace in the lower back and the hips. Bringing awareness to the back body. Allowing the breath to fill the entire back body. Knowing that wherever there are ribs, there is lung tissue. We breathe into that space. Complete inhales, softening, releasing exhales. Nice. With your next inhale, if you're on the floor in child's pose, you're coming up and letting the hips come to one side and legs to the other. Coming to sit momentarily as you scoot yourself up to the top of your mat and lowering all the way down onto your back. And you're doing this slowly, mindfully, maybe rolling onto one side, maybe coming through a boat pose. But you're using the breath and taking a few rounds of breath to come to rest on your back or stay seated in the chair. Nice. Softening through the shoulders, aware of the breath. With your next exhale, drawing that right knee in towards the chest. Maybe you clasp in back of the thigh, interlacing the fingers. Soften through the shoulders. Aware of equal weight in both hips, keeping a long spine, and exhaling from the hip crease. The thigh comes closer to the belly. Without shortening the side body. If you have the space and the softening, you can draw that knee a little closer. And then move it around there, maybe making some circles in the hip socket, and reversing those circles. And then finding stillness there. Inhaling, extending that leg straight up to the ceiling, or if you're seated, it can extend onto the floor in front of you with the heel resting. The foot is flexed. And then we're making some circles in the ankle. And reversing those circles. And finding stillness there to fan the toes away from each other and curl them in. Breathing in, breathing out. Coming to stillness and reaching into that heel, drawing the toes down to the knee, finding length through the back of that leg, meeting your body wherever it is today. And with your exhale, rotating the leg in the hip socket so that you can cross that ankle over the thigh. Is the left foot on the floor? I forget what I cued you. So left knee is bent, foot on the floor, right ankle crosses over, if that's accessible to you. Inviting that right knee to soften away from you. And breathing into that sensation. If it's not accessible for you, if you're seated and it is not accessible for you to put your ankle up onto your thigh, you can place a block or a pillow or a book on the floor in front of you and cross that ankle in front of the shin on the block. Breathing into that opening. Maybe this is where you'll stay. Maybe you're able to, if you're on the floor, walking that left heel a little closer to the sitting bone. Maybe with your exhale, if you're on the floor, you're floating both knees over to the left. Inhaling up to center and exhaling over. You can get small movement if you're seated. Just rocking the legs to the left, feeling a little sensation maybe in the hips as the muscles contract and lengthen. And then coming to stillness there as you inhale, extending that leg straight up to the ceiling or out on the floor. And then bending that knee and floating that foot to the earth. Pausing there. Tucking the shoulder blades underneath the heart, softening the back of the neck, long spine. Exhaling, drawing that left knee in for a hug. Soften through the shoulders. Maybe interlacing the fingers and back of the thigh. Keeping a long spine. Seated, lying on the floor, getting some movement there, making some circles through the hip, reversing. So there are no rules. You can always move it around before coming to stillness. Then exhaling, drawing that thigh, hugging it in to rest on the belly, knee towards the chest. What do you notice? If you're seated, have you rocked to the back of the hips, or are you still resting on the sitting bones, keeping a long spine? Are you shortening the side body or just working the leg in the hip socket? Can you notice? What are you aware of? Inhaling, extending that leg straight out onto the floor in front of you or reaching to the ceiling and making some circles through the ankle. As if you were moving in honey, big circles. And reverse those circles. And then finding stillness there, fanning the toes out, curling them in. Nice. Flexing the foot as you reach into the heel and extend out of that rooted hip. We draw the toes to the knee and find length through the back of that leg. rotating the leg in the hip socket so that you can bend the knee and cross that ankle over the thigh or not. What is accessible to you to get that hip opening? Is this side a little different? Have you rocked over to the left, or are you able to keep the sacrum rooted to the earth, the weight in the center of the hips? Just noticing. What are you aware of? Maybe you have space to walk that right heel a little closer to the sitting bone, still offering that left knee to soften away from you. Maybe you'd like to move a little, experiment a little with movement. So you exhale and let the knees float a little to the right. Inhale back to center, keeping that left foot flexed to protect the knee, as if you could stand that left foot on the floor if you're on the floor, the knee to the ceiling, just noticing, meeting your body wherever it is, a lengthening through the back body, the core body that draws you into the twist. What muscles engage, which lengthen. And then coming back to stillness there. Exhale to root down or rest on the earth. Inhale to extend into that leg one more time. Reaching into that heel. And then bending the knee and floating that foot back down to the earth. Breathing in stillness, surrendering to the earth beneath you, aware of the vast sky above you. With your inhale, the right leg extends straight out onto the floor. The leg is active, the foot is flexed. And maybe that left arm extends alongside your ear. And you're keeping a long body. Breathing into that space. Nice. And with your exhale, that left arm floats down, that right foot slides in. Inhaling, extending into the left heel. Floating that right arm maybe alongside the ear. Maybe the shoulder's a little different. You need to bend the elbow and soften and find a way to be peacefully resting in this lengthening on a diagonal. Both side bodies opening with each inhale, lengthening. And with your exhale, that left foot comes back to the floor, that right arm floats down. Pausing here to inhale and extend the arms out in T. And exhale, cross the right arm in front of the left, wherever it lands, honoring your body. Maybe the forearms are crossed. Maybe you're able to cross at the elbows and have the fingertips to the shoulders. Find an easy way to be here, with the intention of bringing the focus to the space between the shoulder blades, to allow maybe the elbows to reach away slightly, straight up to the ceiling or out in front of you, depending on where you are, and to breathe into that space in the back body. If you're seated, you're still keeping a long spine, not collapsing into the lower back. The ribs expand and reach down towards the earth beneath in the back body. And exhale, hug away. With your next inhale, we extend and open out into T and reverse the cross. So now the left arm is in front, the right arm under. Wherever you land without efforting into the tops of the shoulders, with the intention of bringing the focus to the space in back of the heart. Bringing awareness to the shoulder blades, coming away from each other. With each inhale, bringing the breath into that space. And exhaling, allowing a release even as the body hugs away from the earth or contracts away from the earth. With your next inhale, extending, reaching through those fingertips. Exhale, floating the arms down, pausing here. And coming into a final spinal twist. Maybe you have a favorite way to come into a twist. I'll guide you into stacked knees. If you're seated, we'll do that first. You're inhaling, lengthening, and exhaling, twisting the heart. Wherever you land, the hands resting on one hand on the opposite leg, one hand on the chair. If you're on the floor, you're exhaling both knees over the hips and allowing one knee and then the other to float over to the side. Resting here in the stillness, maybe extending the arms out in T if they're not there already, or goddess, to bring more awareness into that opening across the collarbone, to breathe into that space. That top knee tracing back to the hip. Maybe you have the space to extend that top hip, lengthen it away from the armpit. And then soften there, bringing awareness to the back body. If you're resting on the earth, letting go of any efforting. Maybe the back body comes a little closer. Maybe that shoulder blade is able to rest a little flatter. Maybe you're gazing to the fingertips opposite the knees. Inhaling, bringing the gaze to the ceiling or center. Exhaling one knee and then the other up. And then allowing one knee and then the other to float over. Propping if you need to, always this is your home, your practice, so hopefully you keep your props handy so that you can place a pillow or a block under your knees or thighs. Breathing into that opening across the collarbone and down the side body. Bringing awareness to that top knee and that hip. And maybe you have the space to inhale that hip away from the armpit to find even more length through the side. Bringing awareness to the back body. And with your next exhale, softening any efforting that might be there. Gazing to the fingertips opposite the knees if you're not already, if that is accessible or available for you. With your inhale, gazing up to the ceiling. With your exhale, the knees float back up to center. Maybe you draw them in for a hug. Maybe there's another pose you would like to take or flow in and out of. Maybe you're ready to cover up and prepare for Shavasana. Pillows, blankets, socks, sweaters. Knowing that even if you're warm now, even more reason that you might become cool as you rest in Shavasana. So covering up even if you don't think you need it, seeing how that is. As we all choose to find stillness in a different way, seated in a chair, resting on the floor, knees bent or extended, props under the knees. If you're seated, bringing the hips all the way back to the back of the chair and letting the back body rest into the back of the chair. If the feet don't rest flat on the floor, getting a blanket, a block, a pillow, something so that you rest easily seated in the chair with the feet grounded on the earth, grounding ourselves, allowing the earth to support us, using the breath to guide us into stillness, choosing stillness, working out any unease in the body, allowing it to rest comfortably, safe and secure into the earth. Using the exhales to soften the space between the eyes, allowing the eyes to rest into the back of the head, inviting the forehead to melt towards the earth, and all the muscles surrounding the eyes soften and release. Bringing awareness to the jaw, and using the exhale to soften the muscles surrounding the jaw. Inviting the tongue to slip away from the roof of the mouth. Allowing the lips to softly meet. Witnessing all the muscles in the face melt towards the earth. Aware of the breath. One breath flowing into the next without any control, just your natural rhythm. Witnessing the echo of the breath as it fills the body and then fills the space surrounding you. With just a gentle pause between the breaths. Aware of the body resting on the earth. Aware of the vast sky above us. Aware of the breath, bringing us into harmony. A single cell organism can protect itself, or it can absorb nutrients, but it can't do both at the same time. And so it is in this pause of meditation that we can choose to stop protecting ourselves and to begin the process of being available to the nutrients all around us. To become aware of the sensations in the body as it brings us into fight or flight. And to choose to let it go, using the breath to bring us into a peaceful way of being. become available to the support, to the nourishment in the world around us. To be available. To say, I am available. I am present for this body breathing. I am present for this heart beating. I am present for this spacious mind. I am present for this awesome, sacred moment. I am available. To become aware of the habits of the mind, of the thoughts, obsessions, stories, and images that will always be there. And to choose to be available to the moment, to this body breathing. To this heart beating. To the spacious mind. To this moment unfolding. Available to what is true here and now. Not missing the moment. I am available to this earth. I am available to this sky. I am available to this awareness that holds the earth and sky in harmony. I am of the earth. I am of the sky. I am the harmony of the earth and the sky, and I am available. Available to this moment and all that it offers. Slowly becoming aware of your body resting on the earth, becoming aware of the space surrounding you. Gently deepening your inhales and your exhales. And slowly inviting movement into the body, soft and gentle. And with your next inhale, maybe the arms extend. And with your exhale, they float to a comfortable position as you bend one knee and then the other to step the feet softly onto the earth. Transitioning here, becoming more awake and alert with every inhale. Noticing what your practice has given to you today. What will you take with you off your mat and into your life? If you're resting on the floor, rolling over to one side or the other, using your arm as a pillow. Pausing here to become aware of the breath filling the front and back of the heart space. Bringing awareness to that intention that you started your practice with, and maybe repeating that softly to yourself one more time. Keeping the eyes softly closed. If that suits you, press the earth away and draw yourself up into a comfortable, easy seated position. And with your inhale, maybe the arms extend one more time. And with your exhale, the palms float together to come to rest at the heart center. And we lift our hearts. We bow our heads to honor that perfect light that shines in all of us and unites us. With the intention that our practice be continuous, that our hearts be steady for ourselves and all beings. May all beings be safe. May they be healthy. May all beings be happy. May they know freedom. May they find peace. And may all beings move through the world with ease. Namaste. Thank you for sharing your practice with me.